But Brandon, we're going to end the podcast like we always do. If you're on Blog Talk Radio, this is at the end like it is every week. If you're on YouTube, hey guys, I can see you guys. You're seeing this the day one that this comes out so that you guys have enough day to watch these.
I just have to say something that I think is so funny. You said, hey, yeah, I can see you guys. You can't see them.
Yeah, I can. I see Rex sitting there. I see Ben sitting there. Ben sitting there in his blue t-shirt that he's wearing. I can literally see him through the lens. It's a magic camera we got here, Brandon. Wingardium Leviosa. That's what we are. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa, right? Is that the
you
line?
You got it.
Did I say it wrong?
No, I think you got it right.
Because you're the Harry Potter expert here in the room.
You got it right.
But we're picking the top 25. So how it works, I know a lot of people had complaints last week. If the game contains someone in the top 25, we're picking that game. So some of them might be clunkers like Michigan Air Force. We're still going to pick it because we're going through top 25 teams. And the first game, before we pick the first game, I have a comment, and it's Rex Smith, who I mentioned just a second ago, says, let Ricky start picking Illinois games just to keep it interesting. You know he really wants to. Well, this Friday, we get the Fighting Illini 2-0 going up against Charlie Strong and the number 22 South Florida Bulls. Sound the alarms. We go an upset special here, Fighting Illini with the 3-point win in South Florida.
Well, no need for alarms with me.
Tampa.
I'm going to keep it pretty simple. South Florida will get the win over an Illini team that, hey, 2 wins for them. That's a good way to start the season, but it'll be 2-1.
Yeah, we're getting the win. We're going 3-0 to start this year before we get demolished in conference play like it usually happens. But the next game is that game I mentioned, number 7 Michigan hosting Air Force. Both teams undefeated on the year, but this is one you got to go with the Wolverines. I don't think Air Force has enough to beat Harbaugh and Du Bois.
Gotta love our United States Air Force, but they're going to probably be better out in battle and combat than they will on the football field. Michigan will get the win.
Next game, we've got your team that you talked about earlier, the team you are high on in the Big 12, number 9, Oklahoma State, the Cowboys, going up against the team I believed I picked to upset Penn State. I believe I picked them to upset Penn State. I'll have to go back and check the record.
You did not last week.
I thought I did.
You did not.
I thought I did.
That dumb.
I thought I was. Usually I am. I got to go back and see. But we've got Pitt hosting Oklahoma State. I think this is another easy game. Cowboys with the road win.
Yeah, I think that Oklahoma State's going to get the win. But let's not forget, Pitt just lost a tough game to Penn State. And then Franklin says it was like playing Akron. You just got called Akron. So they're going to be pissed. But I think that
I don't even know why you need to make that comment if you're James Franklin.
I think that
why?
Oklahoma State.
Why do you need to make it?
Oklahoma State goes in, gets the win.
Well, I'll ask you, do you think he needed to make that comment? I don't think he needed to.
No, he didn't. But what he was doing, he was adding fuel to the fire to reinvigorate the Pitt and Penn State rivalry, and he did just that.
Well, the next game, we talked about this quarterback in the last segment. We've got Josh Rosen and the UCLA Bruins, number 25. They are ranked this week, going on the road to Memphis, Tennessee to play the Memphis Tigers. Got to go with the Bruins in this one. I think Rosen will have a little step down. No, not a step down. I'm going to say 4 touchdowns, no INTs, 326 yards through the air.
Well, I was also going to say I think it's another 4-touchdown day. I wasn't thinking 320 on the dot.
I almost said 3 touchdowns, but then I went back up to 4.
He'll go up. He'll get 4 touchdowns. It'll be another no interception day for Rosen, and he's going to just keep rolling on the road to Memphis.
And next game we've got, here's one that could be an upset, but I don't think it'll happen. We've got number 10 Wisconsin going on the road to play the BYU Cougars. Are you going to be bold? I'm not. I'm picking the Badgers. But are you going to be bold and pick the Cougs over the Badgers?
Absolutely not. Wisconsin's going to roll.
Then coming up next, this is a team I picked last week because I thought they'd get the upset special. But Virginia Tech going on the road, number 16 going on the road to play East Carolina. East Carolina has not looked good this year. I believe that my second favorite team in Virginia Tech gets the win under their star quarterback. Hasn't been as hot as Josh Rosen, but Josh Jackson has been doing a great job for the Hokies. He gets enough done and then some for the Hokies to beat East Carolina.
Yeah, give me Virginia Tech in this one. There's no chance for East Carolina.
Another easy game. That's the only thing I hate about the first 3 weeks before we start getting into conference play. SMU, I know they're 2-0. TCU, though, coming into this one ranked 20th, like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, they got a impressive win to me over the Arkansas Razorbacks this next week. I think this is another game at home where, these guys, this TCU team kind of starts building more confidence. They go to 3-0, looking forward into Big 12 conference play.
Yeah, give me TCU at home in this one. I think that they'll come up with a big win.
And now the big game. The big game only because you know how I feel, Brandon. Like the last podcast we had, we recorded the podcast while the Tennessee-Georgia Tech game was going on. And Georgia Tech was up. And I threw a little jab at Tennessee, and I made fun of them. But then I said, knowing my luck, Tennessee will come back and get lucky and win the game in the end. That's exactly what happened. Tennessee going into Florida, 23-24 in Gainesville. I'm going to let you pick this one first. Who do you have winning this important SEC East matchup?
Florida needs this game badly. Mm-hmm. They cannot have 2 losses within the first 3 weeks. Game 2 got canceled. They need this win. They'll get it at home.
I am going to go Florida as well. There was no shocker here. There's no way I was picking the Vols in this one. And a big reason, those guys who were suspended, A, they're getting them back. B, they're going to be pissed off. Expect a huge game from Antonio Callaway as the Florida Gators get the win over the Tennessee Vols. Then an interesting one, Mercer against number 15 Auburn, only because Auburn coming into this one, they are going to be upset giving up 11 sacks to Clemson last week.
There's nothing interesting about this. They're playing Mercer.
They're going to win. They're going to be pissed off.
They're going to get a win. But you would say, now this is an interesting one.
It is.
Mercer and Auburn. I mean, this could be Ricky. I'm literally looking on ESPN as we go down. Mercer is so bad I can't even click on them to give me an explanation of what the school is about. I can't even do that. Don't even try to tell me that this is an interesting game. Auburn is gonna smoke them out of town. It's an easy one. Nothing interesting about it. Auburn gets the win.
Mercer so far has played Jacksonville. They won 48-7. And this past week, they lost to number 10, a team that we in the past have gotten wrong for saying I'm probably going to say it wrong again, Wofford, whatever it is. They lost to them 27-28. So they are 1-1 on the season. I say interesting only because Auburn's going to be pissed off after giving up 11 sacks. I didn't say it's going to be interesting because Mercer's going to get the win. Now, if this was basketball, remember Mercer against Duke a couple years ago, they could ball out and they could dance. However, Auburn gets the win in this one. Then another interesting one, only because they're coming off of a loss. We've got 2-0 Army going up against Ohio State. Who you got?
You've got another team that's going to be really pissed off. Ohio State is
really pissed off.
Ohio State's going to roll and get the win in this one, but I really would like to see, JT Barrett, how does he play in this one? Because he doesn't need to play exceptionally well for them to get the win. But Are you disrespecting Army? Are you disrespecting the Army team that week 1 beat Fordham 64-6? Are you disrespecting the Army Knights? I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
Buckeyes get the win. I'm not going that bold. I'll tiptoe the ledge, but I won't go that bold. Then we have the Pac-12 matchup. 21 Washington State should have been 1-1, but they're 2-0. Thank God, because I picked them last week. Hosting the Oregon State Beavers. Are you going against the Cougs again?
I badly want to. And screw you, Boise State, for not being able to hold a lead. What the hell? But I'm going to go Washington State in this one.
Yeah, this one's going to be interesting because we've got 2 quarterbacks that aren't near the top, but they're 2 quarterbacks that can do some damage in this game. So far, you got Jake Luton, who we believed would have been the starter for the Beavers in the offseason. That was the podcast where you were actually in Florida. Sean filled in for you. He's got 674 yards, 4 touchdowns. You also have Luke Folk on the other side for Mike Leach's squad. I'm going to go with the Cougars, but I'm going to say it's a close one. I'm going to say it's a 7-point game, a lot closer than the line right now, which calls for Washington State as 21.5-point favorites. I think this is going to be a close one, but not enough for the upset. And then we've got Tulane and Oklahoma. Oklahoma now the number 2 team in the nation. Boomer Sooner all day. I think this is a blowout for the Sooners. 33.5-point favorites right now.
It is. Oklahoma gets the win, and maybe Baker Mayfield will go and put the flag right in the middle of the field again.
Nah, I don't think he does that. But talking about another blowout, another one, number 1 Alabama, Colorado State. Can you give me any chance that Colorado State wins this one?
No, there is no chance that Colorado State wins this one. Alabama all the way.
You know what I find interesting?
What's that?
Oklahoma against Tulane. Oklahoma 33.5-point favorites. Alabama, Colorado State. I know we're recording this on Monday. Right now, the line is at Alabama 28.5. I would think Alabama would be a higher odd than Oklahoma. Wouldn't you agree? I would think that Oklahoma would blow out Colorado State by more points than Oklahoma would blow out Tulane. That Alabama would score more points.
Yeah, I would say what you had first said to me was kind of confusing. Honestly, either way, I don't care. Both teams are going to win.
Brandon's like, I am not betting on either of these games because they will be blowouts and you won't win a lot of money. And going into the next one, SEC matchup, number 12 LSU on the road, Mississippi State. I am going to go with LSU. I almost wanted to pick the Bulldogs, but I'm going to go with the Tigers.
I'm going with the Bulldogs.
I almost wanted to.
Danny Etling has thrown just one touchdown pass this season.
I wanted to go with
Mississippi State at home. They're going to upset LSU.
I'm changing my mind. I'm going to go with Nick Fitzgerald. I'm going to go with my gut because my original gut said Nick Fitzgerald, Mississippi State. Yeah. But then I'm like, you know what? This LSU defense is good, and against the run, they're one of the best. They, like I mentioned earlier, they are the best yards per game against them, the lowest in the rushing attack. I am going to go, though, with Mississippi State. I'm changing my pick, going with my original one, going with the gut. I know it's big, but I'm going with it.
Yeah, that's why you're just not sure which side to go with.
It kind of shifts around.
I hear you. But this is an interesting game. This is
truly interesting. Not a Ricky interesting.
No. This is going to be a good game. LSU on the road at Mississippi State. LSU number 12. Mississippi State not even ranked. But this is just a huge game because it's inside the conference. SEC. It's going to be good.
Then we got 2 games to me that smell like blowouts. We've got Penn State, Georgia State. I'm going to go with Penn State. Georgia, Samford. Going to go with Georgia. How about you guys? And we're packaging these 2 together because I think they're going to be blowouts. Top 25 teams win.
Yeah, Penn State gets an easy victory. And yet again, like I said, I can't even click on Samford here. It's not unclickable. It won't even take me to the page. So Georgia gets that victory too.
If Pitt is Akron, what would Georgia State be?
If Pitt is Akron, what would Georgia State be?
Because I would assume Pitt is better than Georgia State.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Georgia State's Mercer.
I just don't get it. I don't. But then we've got a interconference, interpower 5, 18 Kansas State from the Big 12, Vanderbilt SEC. The line is only having the Thundercats as a 4-point favorite. Who do you got, the Commodores or the Wildcats?
Kansas State. I got Kansas State winning this one on the road. I think that their defense will get it done.
I am going to go upset in this one. I'm going with the Commodores as they are going to win by 3 in this one. A late second field goal gets them the victory as time expires at home to beat the Thundercats in Nashville. You just like the storyline.
I do. I love it. I do. You just make this up as you go.
I won't just give you a winner. I'll give you a score and how they're going to win it. That is what I do here on the Primetime Podcast. But then we've got a big game, the biggest game of the week. Game day is going to be there. It's going to be on ABC, 7 o'clock Central Time. Number 3 Clemson going into Louisville at Papa John's Cardinal Stadium to play number 14 Louisville. You guys know who I'm picking. I'm going Lamar Action Jackson. The Cardinals getting the dub against the Tigers.
Hey, in this one, no Deshaun, no problem. Clemson's going to go in. Their defense is going to be able to hold down Lamar Jackson. There ain't going to be a whole lot of action going on.
I still think he gets at least 3.
He's going to get his, but they'll hold them. Clemson will be able to come in and get something done.
I think that this is going to be a big game, and this is going to be the most interesting. This is going to be the most entertaining game of the week, or so I hope for. I hope this is a huge, last second team at the goal line, and one team makes a play to win it.
You want to kind of spell that out for us for this one? I mean, you have an idea of how it's going to go. How's it going to go?
I think what it's going to do is Louisville's going to be up 6 with 5 seconds to go. Clemson on the 10-yard line. Kelly Bryant will be looking for the end zone, batted away by the Cardinals to win it as time expires. It's going to be a defensive play for the Cardinals that wins this game for them in it.
Hell of a storyline. I like that one.
Then we've got the Trojans and the Longhorns in L.A. I like the Longhorns in the preseason. Yes, they beat San Jose State, but I like Sam Darnold a little bit more, and the Trojans are going to get more on a roll beating Tom Herman and the Longhorns.
I think USC is going to win this one pretty big because Texas's defense is still a long ways away. They're going to have a lot of points put up against them. If Maryland was able to do that to you in week 1, USC is going to pummel you here in week 3.
Well, and then the last two that we have, 6 Washington going up against Fresno State. I think this is another blowout victory and another blowout loss, I should say, for Fresno as they lost to Alabama last week. And then Stanford going on the road to play San Diego State. I think Stanford gets the win. Who you got in these last two?
2 easy ones, Washington, Stanford.
Yeah, and this is I kind of want to apologize because last week we got the comments of why don't you guys pick some interesting games? Well, besides a couple of them, there's a lot of, this is the part of the season, especially week 3, where teams go ahead and they schedule their cupcakes and they schedule teams. We're going to get into the meat of this in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to get some really good games as these teams get into conference season and get going and start playing each other. But that's going to do it for the Primetime Podcast this week. I hope you enjoyed everything. Let us know down below in the comment section what you guys thought. Let us know on Twitter. I'm at Ricky Widmer. Brandon is at young_swan19. And also a little bit of house cleaning yet again here at the end. Make sure to check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. This is your way to help support the channel more so than watching, liking, subbing, and sharing our videos each and every week. We have rewards for you guys that you guys can get a exclusive Patreon podcast. You can be guests on our podcast each and every month. Check out that at patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. I want to thank you guys for watching and or listening today. Brandon and I will be back next week with the storylines following week 3 of action. Have some fun watching these games. I know Brandon and I will. And as always, have a good day, everybody.